The reason why I don't give up on theology is not because I think that theology holds some kind of truth, but because I think it holds a force that can push the boundaries of reality, of the discourse, in ways that no other discipline can, if we let it, that is. And I mean, I have kids in a time of climate emergency, and I want to be able to look them in the eyes and when they grow up and say that Mummy did all she could to push the boundaries of reality. Not that it will amount to much, but if we all do it, it will. In a lecture, Gilles Deleuze once tried to answer the question of why philosophy for so long was so caught up with God, why philosophy didn't give up on God and theology. Was it a question of power that thought up until the end of the 17th century had to take account of the demands of the church? Well, that's probably part of the answer, he says, but not the whole answer. Was the answer then more pious, that human thought is kind of linked to religious feeling? Now, that's also only part of the answer, he says. Could we not formulate another hypothesis, he writes, namely that the divine, far from being a constraint for philosophers and painters, is a site of their maximum emancipation. In other words, with God, they can do anything whatsoever. They can do what they couldn't do with humans, with creatures. And then he exemplifies with El Greco, the immensely praised but also highly controversial painter who had to flee Spain after he had painted a painting where ordinary humans were standing above Jesus. El Greco could only achieve this creation and the force of emancipation on the basis of the Christian figures, Deleuze states. I quote, "It's true that there are constraints from the church which operate on the painter, but there is a transformation of constraints into means of creation. The painters make use of God in order to achieve a liberation of forms, to push the forms to the point where the forms have nothing to do with an illustration. The forms are unleashed. They embark upon a kind of Sabbath, a very pure dance, the lines and colors losing all necessity to be representational, to be exact, to resemble something. It's the great empowerment of lines and colors which occurs thanks to this outward appearance, that is, the subordination of painting to the demands of Christianity." As a result, Deleuze writes, in a sense, atheism has never been external to religion. Atheism is the artistic power of action, agency that labors on religion. With God, everything is permitted.